Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only BodkinShow. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkin Show. I am that dude, Bodkins, as always. It is our weekly wrap-up show. Typically, we do this on Thursday, but everything got shifted in life for me this week. So we're putting it out on Friday. Get you ready for New Year's Eve. Tomorrow, and we have 2 days left of what was a wild and crazy 2022. So if you missed it last night, please check out our Week 17 NFL Week Preview Show. Mr. First Down, who covers all things Titans, joined us. We talked Titans. We made picks. Got a lot of talk about the Titans, about how they are on the rebuild, how they are working. They're going to have to tear this whole thing down. So if you missed that, please check that out. Today's morning show going to be a little different. At the back end, we're going to give out some MMA awards along with we got the Bodkins NBA Power Rankings. So there's all that, and we will get ready here. So let's start out with the week. We got to break down these college football games. It's finally here. The college playoffs start tomorrow. I'm excited. It's TCU, Michigan, obviously off the start. And actually what we'll do before we get into that, let's break down some of these other games that have happened in the past week. Let me open up the ESPN app. Here we go. In case you've been missing it like I have because you've been busy. So since I think the last time we spoke was right before Christmas. So we had the Mortgage Bowl. Wake Forest beat Missouri 27-17. Houston, Louisiana. Houston wins 23-16 in the Independence Bowl. The Hawaii Bowl, you had MTSU beat San Diego State 25-23. In the Quick Lane Bowl, 24-19. New Mexico State beats Bowling Green. The Camilla Bowl, Buffalo beats Georgia Southern. In the First Responder Bowl, Memphis beats Utah State. The Tickmaster Brigham Bowl, East Carolina beats Coastal Carolina 53-29. Wisconsin wins the Guaranteed Rate Bowl over Oklahoma State 24-17. The Military Bowl, Duke wins over UCF 30-13. Arkansas beats Kansas 55-33 in the Liberty Bowl. That was a wild game, went to like 3 overtimes. Oregon beats North Carolina in the Holiday Bowl 28-27. Texas Tech beats Ole Miss in the Texas Bowl 42-25. Yesterday's games in the Pinstripe Bowl, Minnesota beats Syracuse 28-20. In the Cheez-It Bowl, Florida State beats Oklahoma 35-32. In the Alamo Bowl, Washington beats Texas 27-20. So then we get into tomorrow's playoff games. It's finally here. It's TCU, Michigan. I remember TCU 12-1 coming off the loss to Kansas State in the bowl game or in the Big 12 title game. And then you got undefeated Michigan going at it. Michigan is the favorite at 7.5, folks. Yeah, I'm riding with the Wolverines here. Give me Michigan at 7.5. Boom, baby. The next thing we have Ohio State and Georgia. The Buckeyes coming off the last time we saw them, they got demolished by the Wolverines. Michigan, Ohio State is the dog here, playing the undefeated Bulldogs, the reigning defending champions. Georgia at -6.5. Yeah, give me the Bulldogs, baby. It's Bulldogs, Wolverines in the playoff champion, in the college football playoff championship. we'll see what happens. It's going to be all played on the field tomorrow. When is the national title game is a week, January 9th, so a week from Monday. So we'll see who's winning here. I really like this. I think Georgia's winning the whole thing, folks. I think they're the best team in all of college football. So I don't see any one of these teams beating them. They're going to win this whole damn thing again. Kirby Smart is building himself a program. They're going to be back-to-back playoff champs, national champs. I just don't think Michigan has the firepower. I think they can get past TCU, and I just don't think Ohio State has the firepower or the defense to stop Georgia. Georgia is so damn good. I like Georgia. Remember, this is a team that lost, 7 of 11 defensive starters in the draft last year. So, and they just rebuild. They retooled, and they're right back at it. So give me Georgia to win the whole damn thing. Let's get into some NCAA basketball. I'm just going to give you your top. No big news here in the old college basketball yet, as conference play is now started, but did want to give you guys the top 10 here. And that was football. No. In the NCAA, Purdue still undefeated at 12-0. UConn, the only other team in the top 10 that's undefeated, at 13-0. Houston at 12-1. Kansas at 11-1 is 4. Arizona at 5 at 12-1. Texas at 6 at 10-1. Tennessee at 7 at 10-2. Alabama at 10-2 at 8. Arkansas 11-1 at 9. Gonzaga at 10-3, number 10. So that ranks out your top 10 in the college basketball. Got to get into the NBA here, folks. Let's talk of the NBA has now suspended 11 players from the Magic Pistons. I wouldn't really call it a brawl. One dude bashed another dude in the back of the head. He fell into the bench. His bench, was kind of looked like they were holding him down. Other bench players ran down on the Pistons side to kind of help their guy out. And the NBA has suspended 11 for 2 teams that don't really matter. So, more importantly, though, we got to talk about this LeBron James situation. LeBron's made some comments here, folks. Is he going to get out of LA? He has kind of said like it's not in his DNA just to be playing ball. He wants to win. Well, LeBron James should have told LeBron James, the general manager, when they put this team together, that this team wasn't going to win. They're not very good. Now Anthony Davis is out for a while. Is LeBron James going to be looking to get out of La La Land, to move out of LA? I don't think it's really worked out the way he wanted to. They do have, if you want to call it the bubble, they have one championship that was in the bubble. Outside of that, it has not been successful for the Lakers and LeBron. And who knows what would have happened if that championship wasn't in the bubble. But here we are. LeBron could be moving out from LA. He would have to ask for a trade. I don't know. Craig is chiming in here. He said LeBron forgot AD was made of glass. Yeah, Anthony Street Close Davis, who was putting up MVP numbers before he got hurt, and everybody's like, oh, he could be MVP. And I just kept thinking, he's going to get hurt eventually. This is Anthony Street Close Davis that we're talking about. So eventually he's going to get hurt. Personally, I just think, I don't know. What's LeBron going to do? They're going to have to tear that whole thing down. They're not close. You look at them, they're just an old team. They even in the offseason, they didn't make the great moves. The Lakers stink, folks. And LeBron James is going to win. He's going to pass Kareem as the all-time leading scorer, but it just hasn't worked out for him in LA. Does he go back to Cleveland? Can he force his way back to Cleveland and join the team? That team looks more championship ready than the Lakers do. It's possible. LeBron will have to figure it out because they're not going nowhere. They're not winning anytime soon. LeBron James won't win another championship in a Laker uniform. At least I don't see how he does. Unless something drastically changes the landscape of the NBA. But the way it is right now, give me the field over the Lakers. And LeBron's getting up there in age. They don't have any other good young pieces. Like Craig said, Anthony Davis made of glass. Anthony Street Close Davis isn't getting it done. Let's get into the Bodkins NBA Power Rankings here, the BNBA PR. Here we go. Number 1, I got the Brooklyn Nets. They're number 2 in the East, 22-12. They're 10-0 in their last 10, riding the NBA's longest winning streak. I mean, KD, say what you want about KD and Kyrie, but hey, the way this team's playing right now, this is the team that we thought they were going to be. Maybe Steve Nash was the problem. Since he has left, they've kind of turned this ship around, and they're number 2 in the East. Got to change. I mean, you got, as long as KD and Kyrie can stay healthy, when you got two of the top 10 NBA players on your team, you're going to go far, kids. Kyrie, for what it's worth, like, yeah, he's out there every day now. I mean, he was banged up a little bit, and then KD is still a walking bucket, 13, 14, 15 years in the league here. Still can get it done. You look at my number 2 team. I got the Denver Nuggets, the reigning MVP, Djokovic. They're 22-12 too, 8-2 in their last 10. Give me the Nuggets. I like that team, and they're fully healthy with Jamal Murray, Jokic. They got some other pieces, Aaron Gordon on that team, Porter on that team. The Nuggets got a squad, folks. Can they stay healthy long enough to get to the finals, Western Conference Finals? We'll see. I think that it seems like they're always a good regular season team, but how good can they be in the postseason is yet to be answered. I think they got to make it to the Western Conference Finals this year if healthy. Like, that's their – and maybe even – and then at that point in time, just kind of depends on who they're matched up with and then get to the finals. My number 3 team, I got Boston, 26-10. I mean, Jason Tatum looks like an MVP type caliber player. Again, they've grown. They got the Jaylen Brown. They added some nice pieces again in the offseason to add to that bench. That team looks like it could win the East again very easily. I'd like to see them and the Nets kind of go at it. I remember the Celtics bounced the Nets out in like pretty much a gentleman's sweep in the first round last year. My number 4 team, surprise team of the year here, the Pelicans, 22-12 leading the West. All the number 1 team out in the West. I have just the Nuggets, just a slight edge of them in my power rankings, but I like the Pelicans here. I mean, they made the trade for CJ McCollum. Ingram is a stud. Zion looks healthy and skinny. He is absolutely Debo-ing folks out there. Love the Pelicans at 4. Number 5, I have Memphis, 21-13. Ja Morant, another MVP type caliber season. I love that team. Gritty, tough, young, brash. They'll talk a little shit, and sometimes that shit comes back to bite them in the ass, as we saw Christmas Day. But I got Memphis at 5. Number 6, I got Milwaukee at 22-12. Giannis and the boys, again, their team could have made it back to the NBA Finals had Chris Middleton stayed healthy. Last year, seems like that team's ready to go again. Right now, I got them at 6. Number 7, I have Philly. They're 8-2 in their last 10, 20-13 overall. Embiid and Harden. Harden looks a little bit, is getting back out there, is healthy again. He had been hurt most early on in the season. Maxi's got to be the guy to be that third wheel along with Tobias Harris. If they can get those guys to play at a consistent level, they're going to be all right. They could be. I just think where do they rank though as far as long term? Are they better than the Nets? Probably not. Are they going to be better than the Bucks? Probably not. Are they better than the Celtics? No. So, like, again, what's their ceiling? It might be another second round exit. We'll see as the time gets going. Number 8, I got the Mavs. Luka Doncic, man, just absolutely the guy could be MVP. The stat line he put up 2 nights ago, 60 points, 20, 60, 20, and 10, 20 assists, 10 rebounds. I mean, the dude is a stud walking. I mean, the guy's just a playmaker. He really should be the MVP because you take Luka away from the Mavs, what else is there? A whole lot of nobodies. So I got the Mavs at 8. Number 9, I got another surprising team here, the Cavs. I alluded to it when we were talking about LeBron. Donovan Mitchell and them boys are going. They're 22-19. I got them at 9. And then I got the Clippers at rounding out the top 10 here, 21-19. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Again, that's a team that they're a team that could make it to the finals. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, John Wall. Like, that's a team that could go win healthy, if healthy. We've seen Kawhi. Seems like when Kawhi's 100% healthy, that man makes it to the finals or conference finals every time. The question is, can he ever stay healthy? And that could be this year. Craig's chiming in here. He said Celtics, Nuggets, Bucks, Celtics, Nets, Bucks, Nuggets, Pelicans as his top 5 in his power rankings. That's not bad. I mean, you could flip-flop a lot of those teams. Really, it just kind of comes down to preference. I think you got to put Brooklyn at 1 right now if you're going by playing right now and not just like beginning of the season or end of the season, but right now, if you won 10 straight games and you got the longest, hottest winning streak, you got to be number 1 in the power rankings, especially if you're Brooklyn with those two guys. Let's get into the last bit here. We got some MLB news to catch up on. Again, I'm just going to kind of read off this ticker here. Here we go. So since last week, we saw Corey Kluber. Craig, hold on one second. Craig is now trying to say Kawhi Street Clothes Leonard. Doesn't quite have the ring as Anthony Street Clothes Davis, but yeah. Well, let's get into the notable baseball transactions since last week. Corey Kluber and the Red Sox come to agreement on 1 year, $10 million deal. It'd help if I could talk this morning. Kluber I didn't even think this guy was still in the league, but good for the Red Sox, and good for Kluber. Nice 1 year option for a veteran pitcher, former Cy Young winner. Rangers so remember, beginning of the year, beginning of the offseason, they added DeGrom. Well, now they go out and get Nathan Eovaldi. So that deal's 2 years, $34 million, includes a 3rd-year player option. So the Rangers going out and getting a nice 1-2 punch with DeGrom and Eovaldi. It just seems like that's what they always do, right? Like the Rangers are always trying to, let's see if it works out for them for once. Left-hander Richel and the Pittsburgh Pirates in their agreement, 1 year deal, $8 million. The Giants finally get a free agent. They made a pair of additions, signing outfielder Michael Conforto a 2 year, $36 million deal, and left-handed reliever Taylor Rogers, 3 years, $33 million. I mean, I'm sure the Giant fans have got to be happy that their team settled for Michael Conforto after missing out on Carrera and Judge. Oh man, that's like, hey, when you ask mom, hey mom, can we go to McDonald's? We got McDonald's at home. And that's the McDonald's at home. We got Aaron Judge at home. The last one here, I think that was it, actually. That was it for the last week on the MLB news. The Mets Correa situation still, I don't think that contract's been really signed yet. It's been reported that he's still got some physical issues, but they're still working out a deal. They're still going to try to hold on to him. Before we get into the end of the year MMA awards, we have to T's and P's to the soccer legend Pele, and T's and P's to Stephan Bonnar. That leads us into the MMA. Remember, Stephan Bonnar was on the season 1 of the Ultimate Fighter. Tough, and him and Forrest Griffin put on a hell of a fight, and which really everybody says like changed the way the UFC was viewed. People bought in after that, watching that tough finale. So that was probably one of the most important fight in UFC history. Was that tough one fight, and Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonnar delivered. So there's that. Also, again, Pele passed away, so T's and P's to Pele as well. The soccer legend, I think probably the greatest soccer player of all time. So let's get into it. This is the Bodkin Show 2022 MMA Awards, folks. Since we can always do it at the end of every regular season, we can give out awards who we thought was who, and we'll do that probably on Wednesday's show. Wednesday show for the Bodkin Show Week 18 preview before we preview the picks. We'll give out our NFL awards, but let's do the 2022 MMA awards. Remember, man, this year was absolutely wild. So many champions lost their title belt. Let me hold on one. I wanted to remember we began the year with, I wanted to count how many champions had lost their belt. Began the year, remember, we've seen several titles change belts. Began the year, Izzy had a belt, lost it. Charles Oliveira had a belt, lost it. The bantamweight champ is still, Aljamain still had his belt, but I felt like he solidified his belt. I don't know, there's still some controversy, I guess, every one of his fights, but did beat Peter Yan in a close fight. Volk is still the champ. He was the champ last year. Remember, Usman started the year as a champ, lost it. The light heavyweight, it was Glover, lost it. And now we have no light heavyweight champion, as Yuri won it and lost. Francis still the champ. Remember, start of the year in women's strawweight, it was Rose. She lost it. We saw that title change and to Wei Lee. So we've seen what? Let me count them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because if you remember, Juliana Pena was the champion. She caught the champion. Was the champion. Nunez got it back this year at the very end of last year. So 6 title changes. Now, some of that was obviously the champ getting the title back, but 6 different title changes hands over the course of the year in MMA. I mean, wow, that's a lot. And a lot of them happened in the championship rounds. We saw the title change, several fights, and we'll go ahead and start giving out some of these awards. I'm going to look this up because I want to get some categories right. So let's start off with we'll start off with. Do we want to do fight? We'll say fighter of the year. We'll just do. Yeah, we'll go ahead. My male fighter of the year has to go to Alexander Volkanovski. I just think here's the thing. If you want to give it to, I see a lot of award shows given to Pierre. I just think what he did, he had 2 fights and probably could have got another one. It broke his hand. But what he did to Max Holloway, 5-0 Max Holloway, and just absolute demolishes Max in their three-peat. I mean, it has put one of the best fighters in Max Holloway in a position where what does he do? Because, I mean, the first 2 fights were close, but that third fight, I mean, Volkanovski is the only champion who didn't lose a round, okay? He didn't lose one single round all year. What he did to Korean Zombie pieced him up. They had to stop the fight. And then you saw what he did to Max was just absolutely incredible. I like I got to give the Fighter of the Year award to Alexander Volkanovski. And he's going to open up the year in February in Perth, in Australia, and he's going to try to go double champ. We'll see if he can do that against Islam, but I like Volkanovski as my male fighter of the year. My female fighter of the year, this one was hard, and I gotta give it to Zhang Weili. Just what she did in her 2 fights. Remember, she beat the mess out of Joanna Jacek in her bounce back fight early on in the year, and then beats the mess out of Carla Esparza, makes quick work of her, gets the belt back. Yeah, Wei Li is probably my fighter of the year, female fighter of the year. If Kayla Harrison probably wins the PFL again, I might have gave it to her, but just the way Wei Li went out about business, just handled it in 2 fights this year. I think you got to give her the female fighter of the year, maybe even comeback fighter of the year, right? Like the way the 2021 went compared to 2022, I think you got to give it to her. I mean, there was a couple other female fighters that you could have gave it to. I'm looking at some of these categories. You know, somebody had Valentina. Valentina only fought like once or twice. In the second fight, I thought she lost to, what was her name? Santos. And in that fight, it wasn't for the clash of heads. You know, Tyler Santos probably beats Valentina. That's just what that's what the craziest thing is to that one. They got a category here, Breakthrough Fighter of the Year. To me, Breakthrough Fighter of the Year is none other than Sergey Pavlovich. I mean, I hadn't really even heard of Sergey. He had taken like 2 years off, and then he comes out. I mean, absolutely scorches Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa, and is now number 3 ranked in the heavyweight. Yeah, I'd say he broke through. When you can knock out Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa in about 2 rounds, I'd say to me that you're Breakthrough Fighter of the Year. And you put yourself in a chance now. I got to plug my to win the title next year. Looks like they're going to hopefully do Jones and Ngannou next. And then Pavlovich, he could fight Ciryl Gane or Curtis Blades. He beats one of them 2. He's next. He's 1 fight away from a title fight. In the beginning of the year, and he wasn't even in the top 10. So yeah, Sergey Pavlovich gets my Breakthrough Fighter of the Year. So Craig is saying he likes he likes the way Lee as well for his female fight of the year. We get into fight of the year. To me, it can't, I knew this fight was going to be fight of the year just the way it was. It's UFC 275 for the light heavyweight champion Yuri and Glover. That fight was absolutely incredible. It went 5 rounds, and the very 15 seconds left, Yuri chokes Glover out, which who would have ever thought that? Who had that on their bingo card to win the light heavyweight title? I just think that, that fight was just so back and forth. Glover seemed like an old Rocky movie. Just, every time he was in trouble, he would bounce back. Yuri, when it got to the ground, was able to get out of it. That was incredible, action-paced 5-round fight. I love that fight. I'm looking at some other people's the nominations here. They had Gaethje and Michael. Well, that was last year. Volkan, or that was last year too. Hamzat versus Gilbert Burns. They had, so there's a couple of fights there. You could have even went, Wonder Boy and Kevin Holland, but that really wasn't 5 rounds. Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier was a great fight, but that was 3 rounds. So it's hard to beat a 5-round action-paced fight. I really like that fight. It was such a fun fight. Craig Skies, breakthrough Jamal. He likes Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. Yeah, that's possible. Let's see. He says Yuri Glover. He said he changed it to Dustin and Chandler and Chimaev and Burns. Fig and Moreno 3. Well, Craig, you listed 5 fights there. Give me your fight of the year. You can't list 5 fights. I'm saying mine here, and it was just because it was a 5-round banger. Absolute 5-round fight banger. It's got to go. It's got to go to Yuri and Glover for me. Wish we would have got to see that rematch last month. Unfortunately, Yuri gets hurt. Now it's Glover and Craig's breakthrough fight of the year, Sweet Dreams Hill. Knockout of the year. To me, it's only one answer. It was moment of the year. Moment of the year. Craig nailed it over here. It's Leon knocks out Usman. That's it. You have Kamaru Usman, the pound per pound number 1 fighter, winning the whole. He won 4 out. I had him up 4-1 on going into the 5th. He cruises, and then the leg kick lands. He's done. Knockout of the year, moment of the year, headshot, bang, pound per pound. What? How do you like me now? Is what Leon said. What are they going to say about me now? That to this day, I still get goosebumps thinking about that. That was the defining UFC 2022 moment of the year. Knockout of the year. What moment of the year? All of it goes to Leon Rocky Edwards right now for that. He's down. It's over. Usman just got to credit that, and credit to Rocky. Just knocks him out. Cold, collapsed him, sent him into the shadow realm. We still haven't heard from really too much of Usman since. Allegedly, they're going to do Usman Edwards 3, hopefully in London in March, and we'll see what happens there. Just did not seem like Leon was getting it going. And then, what do you know? Boom. Moment of the year. Absolutely just sent him into a different realm. That was knockout of the year. Shout honorable mentions got to go to Chandler knocking out Tony Ferguson with the front kick, sent him into the shadow realm. There were some incredible knockouts all year, but those two to me are you could Cheeto Vera knocking out not Frankie, but what's his name? The old bantamweight. Dominic Cruz. I couldn't think of his name for a second. So yeah, I got it's got to be it. That's the knockout of the year. We get into submission of the year. To me, it's Yuri over Glover again. I got to give it to you because nobody saw that coming, and he's losing in the 5th round. He's losing that fight, and for Yuri Prochazka to tap out Glover Teixeira in a rear naked choke, absolutely wild. Did not see that one happening. I give it to Yuri Prochazka as my submission of the year award for 2022. Upset of the year, man. This one is hard. Upset of the year. To me, it's got to be upset. Because it was a title fight. It might be Leon Edwards. I think that might be it. Like, can it be Can Leon Edwards be upset of the year because it wasn't there. Like, he was the dog in that fight. It might be. Leon Edwards might be the upset of the year. Like I said, that what he did to Kamaru Usman, give that man all the awards. So yeah, I'd probably say it could be Leon as upset of the year. Last year it was Juliana Pena. You remember when she beat Amanda Nunes. I'm trying to think if there was any super huge upsets. If Tala Santos again, she beats Valentina, and that's like we all thought she was. That's upset of the year, but I don't really know if there was other than that. Most boringest fight of the year, Esparza and Rose. That fight was an absolute snooze fest. And so I want to break down. Let's preview 2023 here going forward. So like I said at the top, there were 6 champions to be, new champions, or even Brandon Moreno really won the interim. So who do we see? Is there belts on the line? Obviously, is there somebody is there some people out there right now that could be champion this time next year? How many times will we see the title belt flame? Well, it starts out in Brazil. Moreno, Figgy, 4. We'll see. I kind of like, I don't know who's going to win, but that fight, and we'll preview it. But again, we'll have a unified. I don't know if anybody else in that flyweight division is capable. In the bantamweight, matchups are yet to be made, but it looks like we're getting Henry Cejudo versus Aljo. Give me Henry Cejudo, so right off the bat. And then you look after that, it's O'Malley. It could be Cheeto Vera and Corey Sandhagen. Marab. I'd like to see. How come they haven't made Marab versus Peter Yan yet? Let's get that fight on the books here. Craig saying Esparza over Rose. I'm saying that was the most boringest fight in the world, Craig. That was the worst fight of the year, Esparza and Rose. So the bantamweight, I do think Aljo could drop it. In the featherweight, here's a guy I want to see. I'm going to make a couple bold predictions as we go through this. I think by the end of 2023, Ia Tapora will have fought for could fight or be one fight away from fighting for the flyweight championship. I think Arnold Allen could be right there too. He's number 4, but I'm trying to find a guy that's out of the top like 4 or 5. Ia Tapora is 9. So I think Ia Tapora could fight for the flyweight championship or featherweight championship. I don't see anybody taking away the featherweight championship from Alex Volkanovski. I don't know if he beats Islam. We'll find that out early. Islam's the champ right now at lightweight. A guy I really like is Rafael Fiziev. I'd like to see him and Islam fight. We'll see what happens at welterweight. Here is my bold prediction for welterweight division. Shavkat Rakhmonov will fight for the title or be one fight, or he'll fight either for the title in 2023 or in the first quarter of 2024. Which in that fight, like the first 3 months of 2024. The worst thing that happened to Shavkat already was that Jeff Neal backed out or got hurt. That fight was supposed to happen in January. So I was thinking if he could beat Jeff at 7 and then he fights somebody in the top 4 or 5, Bilal Muhammad or, somebody like that, he could fight for the title if he fights for 3 times. But now that he's not fighting somebody in the top 10, that kind of hurts him. But watch out for Shavkat Rakhmonov. He is a future welterweight champion. I've only said that about a few guys. I truly believe Shavkat is a future welterweight champion, much like I think Tommy Aspinall is going to be a future heavyweight champion someday. I mean, he got the injury. We look at middleweight real quick. I mean, you start off with Izzy and Pereira 2. And, I don't know. I think Pereira's tough, but I think if he gets a wrestler, somebody, Robert Whitaker, I think Bobby Knuckles could beat Pereira. Now, for some reason, he struggles against Izzy, but watch out. If Izzy loses to Pereira again, then it could be Bobby Knuckles next, and he fights Pereira, and I think he could beat him. Looking at light heavyweight, this division's such a mess now with the open title. And it's now Glover and Jamal Hill fighting for the title. I think Glover's going to win that fight next month. I just think that because Glover's ground game, we're going to find out a lot about Jamal Hill. Can he defend the takedowns of Glover? I think that title. I really think this belt could switch hands 2 or 3 times this in 2023. No matter who wins on that January card, whether it's Glover or Jamal, Glover could retire right there on the spot. Maybe he continues to fight, but I wouldn't take him to beat Ankalaev. Rakic is hurt. We'll see what Jan Blachowicz does. And Anthony Smith is right there at 6. I mean, that division's wide open for somebody to take it. Then we get to the heavyweights. Here's Francis. If they do Francis and Jones, hopefully, like we expect them to do, again, that to me is a flip. I'd probably maybe give the edge to Francis because we've never seen Jones at heavyweight, but who knows? And they might as well take Stipe off the rankings because we haven't seen him. Let's remove him from the rankings. And then I'd like to see, I think Sergey Popovich, man, him and Francis would be a fun fight because we've seen Sergey knock out Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa. And I think if he fought Curtis Blades, I would favor Sergey. I don't know about him and Cyril Gahn. That would be interesting. But I think Francis and Sergey would be a hell of a fun fight. Somebody's going to sleep. And we get into the women's. I don't think anybody's beaten Zhang Wei Li in the strawweight division this year. I mean, there's not really nobody's really out there. I think she's so much improved. I know Rose has beat her twice, but Rose needs a get right fight. And I don't see anybody really out there that can beat her. I think this time next year, she's still the champ. Valentina, again, I think if Tyler comes back, she could beat her. She was so close last time. And then you look at Bantamweight, unless we get Valentina versus Amanda in Bantamweight, I don't know if anybody's beaten Amanda at Bantamweight. She's already beat everybody, unless they're going to do Juliana Pena, Amanda 3, I guess. But, man, the second fight was just so one-sided. Amanda just beat her down and bloodied her. I don't think that anybody's beaten her, and there isn't any women's featherweight. Until Kayla Harrison comes over, Amanda's got nobody to fight at featherweight. So that's kind of our MMA awards show for 2023 and a little preview of 2020 or 2022 and our preview into 2023. Look out for a couple fighters I think that are going to make leaps and bounds. Again, I talked about Shavkat. If I go each division, if I had to pick a guy to make leaps and bounds and maybe fight for a title, let's just say in the top 10, real quick, in the flyweight, that Amir Albazi at 7 looks real dangerous. I think he could fight for the title, or watch out for him. In the bantamweight, I think Chito Vera. I think at the end of the year, I really feel like Marlon Chito Vera could be the champion at bantamweight. I really do. I'm not guaranteeing that, but I just think that if I had to pick a future champ, if I had to pick one from each division, I'm going to go with Chito Vera. And then in the featherweight, I gave you Ia Tapora will fight for the title, but if I had to give you the next champion, if I had to, I think it's Arnold Allen. And then in the lightweight title, I think it could be Volkanovski. I really do. And I like Rafael Fiziev too. Out of those guys going forward. In the welterweight, I told you Shavkat. Middleweight, I told you give me Bobby Knuckles. In the light heavyweight, man, I think Ankalaev can figure it out and gets the job done eventually. They'll have to re-give him a title shot. And I think Ankalaev could probably be probably your guy. And in the heavyweight, like I said, I think Sergey Pavlovich. Tommy. It depends on how long Tom Aspinall's out. I'd like to see Aspinall come back. He could very well be again the title. Right there. I think he's a future champion. Eventually, I don't know if it'll happen in 2023 due to the injury that he has sustained this past year. In the strawweight, I don't like anybody, but if you gave me, I had to pick somebody. Give me is Mackenzie Dern at 7? Is that too far? I think if she can rattle off a few wins, she wins 2 and then fights at the back end of the 3 or the quarter part of 2024, she could get it done. In the flyweight, I think Tyler can do it. I know she's only ranked 2, so it's not much of a shocker, but I really do. Grasso's pretty good as well. And in the bantamweight, there really isn't anybody I feel comfortable again. Maybe Raquel Pennington. I just don't. I don't see anybody else there. So that's it, folks. This has been another great weekly wrap-up show. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. Be a friend, tell a friend, hit the like, subscribe, share button. Have a good rest of the new year. Be safe out there. Don't drink too much. Don't drink and drive. And have fun. Be safe. We wish you all the well. Remember, this will be our last weekly show before the new year. So I do got to give a quick shout outs to everybody that's helped this channel grow. And I've only been really around for about 6 months. I think June is when I really started this version so much of the Bodkin Show. And we've added, first off, I got to thank my guys, Kenny and Craig. Kenny he hasn't been on the show, but has done so much on the back end, helping me with the cool videos, the layouts and things like that. Craig has always been, helpful coming on the shows as well. Then special shout out. I got to shout out Dan Harris. Let's Talk Sports. This channel's really, I don't know where I would be without Dan Harris and Let's Talk Sports. I don't know if we've been able to continue. We've been able to reach and find new people due to him. Platform has grown severely due to him. So, Dan Harris, I appreciate you. Get well, continue to recover. We miss you. Wish I could talk to you every day about sports and everything like that, once we stream. So, Dan, shout out to Johnny and Tanner as well, all the guys at the Sports Buffoons and everybody else. And shout out to my lovely wife who lets me do this as well all the time. Shout out to all the commenters, Landez, Johnny Cruz Jr., who comments a lot, all the guys, anybody that's really associated with Let's Talk Sports. But shout out. I'm looking forward to see what 2023 could bring. At the beginning of 2022, I never thought I'd start doing this, and here I am 6 months in, close to 100 subscribers, all close to 1,000 followers on Twitter. So we continue to grow, continue to get better, and we'll see what the world brings in 2023. Wish you well here at the Bodkin Show. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. I'm going to hit that outro, waiting for new beginnings here in 2023. I'm excited to see what happens. We're going to continue to work with Let's Talk Sports all the time, as always, and you'll catch everything right here. Appreciate you.
Thank you.